Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, Buller, everybody, really grateful that you were able to spare your evening. Thank you very much for your time. Very excited to bring you some updates with our colleagues this evening. And it's a nice thought to think that Fiji is one of the first countries in the world to wish the world good morning. So just as we're speaking tonight, everyone in Fiji is just waking up and saying a big fat bula. Now, bula means hello, cheers, good life. And we certainly need good health and a good life now. So I also wanted to let you know that we have some exciting news regarding our specialist training program, our online training for all our travel trade partners. And it's previously been known as MARTI. So MARTI means expert or specialist in Fijian. We are renaming it to specialist.fiji.travel, but it won't be going live until the 4th of April. So the evening's presentations will be fairly swift and I'll be moving quite fast. Left to it, I could talk about Fiji all day, and I don't want to steal too much of your time or from other presenters. So just be heartened by the fact that the new site is going to be very interactive, lots of interesting videos and itinerary ideas to help navigate the mystery of Fiji. So Nadi International is our international gateway on the island of Viti Levu, our largest island, and Fiji Airways is our national carrier. The airport is modern and refurbished, and Fiji Airways aircraft are also quite modern. They have 2 A350s, and I'll come on to the route shortly. But along with many other tourism businesses, the airport and Fiji Airways have adopted all the same Care Fiji commitment promise, which complies with World Health Organization protocols. The whole country and most of the tourism industry has pretty much adopted the Care Fiji commitment. And what this means is that, you know, any resort and experience and even down to taxis that you book should be operating in a safe way. I think we're all a little bit glazed over with all the different protocols going on around the world, but safe to say that Fiji is now open since the 1st of December. Fiji still requires a double vaccination. They've now dropped the PCR requirement, so it's now a RAT test, a rapid antigen test required within 24 hours of arrival. Also, we're still requiring 3 days minimum in a Care Fiji commitment property or cruise. Now, this is not quarantine. You can move around within the corridors of the Care Fiji commitment protocols. You can have guests staying at your hotel and you can go off on excursions. And that reason is so that we can do a day 2 rapid antigen test locally, which the hotels are currently organising. Now, the important thing is we will be dropping this 3-day requirement quite soon, because we're going to be activating an app locally for people to be able to book that 2-day test requirement on their own. So getting to Fiji is remarkably connected, given that we're in the Southwest Pacific and we are exactly 108, we're sitting on the 180th meridian, we're exactly halfway around the world, and the time difference is currently 12 hours ahead. So to fly across Fiji would take about 3 hours. Flying to Auckland, as you can see, is 3 hours. And then from Singapore is 10 hours. And we've got gateways through different areas of the Far East. Now, clearly, Hong Kong will be closed for a little while longer. Japan is still currently closed to visitors, but happy to say that through Singapore, Fiji Airways will be resuming to twice a week. Currently, it's twice a month with Singapore Airlines. And you know, we've got all this information on the website as well. Now, the best time to go to Fiji is actually our summer. Now, that may be odd because we're so close to Australia and New Zealand, but it is hotter between December and March, and we do attract a little bit more humidity at that time. The weather is pretty much warm all year round, but the coolest time to travel would be between June and September, perfect for honeymooners, but I like to travel all year round. So Fiji is made up of 333 islands, 100 of them are inhabited, and the 2 largest islands, Viti Levu and Vanua Levu, are an hour away, connected by Fiji Link, our domestic carrier. Fiji Link also operates to the island of Taveuni, just next to Vanua Levu there in the north. And that's where the international date line actually crosses through. Now, to travel around Viti Levu is a great experience because it's full of adventure, and I'll come to that in a moment. The Coral Coast is on the south pass, the Sunshine Coast is on the top, and then you can see Nandi International there on the west coast and Suva, the capital on the west. Between the two, it's a 20-minute domestic flight or 3.5 hours to 4 hours driving. And there are a number of resorts along that coast, but very spread out. If you have 20 people on a beach in Fiji, that is crowded, and it's very rare to see. Nandi International is very close to Port Denarau, and Port Denarau has a marina and a number of brand resorts, but this serves as a gateway to the well-known Mamanuca and Yasawa Island resorts, which are really, you know, the stage of various films in the past. They're what you would imagine to be your archetypal South Pacific islands. There are 50 islands in those two groups. One thing that I need to say is that Fiji is one of the tropical countries in the world where it's actually remarkably easy and affordable to move around between different islands. So there are full catamaran services connecting the islands I've just mentioned. Lots of different ways to get around Viti Levu. We only have sugar trains. We don't have a full railway, but you've got the connections between Nandi and Suva, and to drive right around the island, you know, probably would take about 8 to 10 hours if you put your foot down, but it's quite mountainous in the middle. But then to move on to the other islands, you've either got domestic transfers, ferries, and of course seaplanes and helicopters, but it's all very affordable. And most people coming to Fiji would do a 2-center or a 3-center. The one thing you can be absolutely guaranteed is an incredible welcome, you know, which only the Pacific is so famous for. Starts at the airport, every touch point throughout your stay. And one of the things that just never fails to melt my heart and make me cry is the arrival you get when you arrive on your island or in your hotel, and everyone's singing a welcome to you. And then when you depart, they sing a farewell song. So mostly Fiji is obviously well known for its incredible beaches, thousands and thousands of miles of beaches. I mentioned there are 100 islands which are inhabited, and for the most part, the smaller islands are boutique, and you might just have one resort on one island, or maybe, you know, one bird on one island. You know, some of them are really very remote. Fiji is very well known for its water sports, of course, because it's an island destination. And that could be everything from simple paddleboarding to kayaking around the different islands. We now have free diving, surfing, sailing, kite surfing, snorkeling, and, you know, obviously cruising. So it, you know, nothing, you won't be bored, let's put it that way. Diving is also incredible. So the water is warm all year round. You know, even in deeper parts, you only need a 3mm wetsuit for those big fans out there. Thousands of different species. Fiji is known as the soft coral capital of the world, and particularly in the northern two islands, the diving is really stupendous, and the reefs are in wonderful condition. And in addition to the soft coral and fans, we have a couple of marine parks where you can actually swim with different varieties of sharks, and there are at least 2 black pearl farms. Fiji does practice sustainability in a big way. We like to think we lead in the region for that, and, you know, we've banned plastic bags, and there are more than 100 paddy centres around Fiji, so marine conservation is also very strong. But for me, when I go to Fiji, it is all about the people. And, you know, I just love to go to church or go to the markets. They're so colourful and really vivid, and just chatting to the locals. Even on the local buses, there are no windows, there are no bus stops. You just hail a bus down. But for most of you, you'll be booking packages through tour operators. And when that happens, you will have really good and high quality ground handling services. Of course, Fiji also has a lot of adventure because of our volcanic mountains. You know, on the four main islands, there's a lot more adventure going on. And for those who have Amazon Prime Video, you might be able to still see the world's toughest race with Bear Grylls, the Eco Challenge, where he races 600 kilometers across Fiji through gorges and on old-fashioned canoes and cycling. And you know, it's quite intrepid, so that'll give you a very good idea of what some of the whitewater rafting, you know, and doing activities with people like Rivers Fiji can offer you. Fiji is also remarkably affordable in terms of eating. So most resorts in Fiji would have maybe a choice of one or two restaurants on the outer islands, and certainly on the main island that's the case with international brand resorts too. And of course, being able to eat out near the main towns is a great experience. It's multicultural. There's a lot of Asian influence in the food as well. The traditional dishes in Fiji are kokonda, which is a bit like a ceviche served in a coconut shell, and also the lovo feast, where food is marinated and wrapped in banana leaves and cooked underground, really, and it's really wonderful, a bit like a fantastic barbecue feast. So if you're lucky enough to enjoy those, you'll appreciate the food in Fiji is always fresh, and you know, you can certainly dine like a king for less than £30 a day. Food and drink is also very affordable. So Fiji water is well known and exported all over the world, available everywhere. Beer is less than £1, and wines tend to come in from Australia and New Zealand, so also good and affordable. And of course, it's a living culture. And wherever you go in Fiji, there might be different cultures to explore, and different forms of meke dancing. You'll all have seen warriors at various shows that we've done or on videos. And you know, it's a very important part of Fijian life, but also if you're invited into a village, if you do something like the Singatoka River Safari or go on a cruise in particular, you might be invited by the chief to come and enjoy the famous kava ceremony, which is always served in a bowl. It's a liquid, and it's derived from the Yangona Piper metsicum plant, which is like a root from a pepper tree, and it's made into a liquid, and it is ceremonial. It marks most important occasions, and that will be served to you if you're very lucky and privileged to enjoy that. So Fiji has incredible views. This is up in Savu on Vanuatu, the second largest island. And you know, just the bird life is beautiful. We do have a lot of sand, and not just on the beaches. We also have the Singatoka sand dunes on the Coral Coast, where the rugby sevens frequently train. And we also have lots of waterfalls. If you go up to the Taveuni Island, you can actually enjoy a waterfall that flows directly into the sea. But as I keep mentioning, it's all about the Fijian people and that beautiful Bulla spirit and smile. So just some hot tips about, you know, the different areas that you might be able to go to suit different clients. So, you know, if your clients are mainly beach people, then we do recommend the Mamanuca and Isawa Islands. You've got fine white sand and lots to choose from every budget. If they like pools, then there are plenty of wonderful pools around the brand resorts of Denarau, down along the Coral Coast, and of course down as far as Pacific Harbour on the way to Suva. And then divers, as I've mentioned, are best suited to going to the Sun Coast on the north part of Vanuatu, Pacific Harbour, where there's a shark dive, and Savu Taveuni up in the north. And then down in Kandavu, which is an island about 45 minutes from Suva and the south coast of Viti Levu, you are located on one of the largest barrier reefs in the world, the Great Astrolabe Reef, and also into the Isawa Islands. Both locations are great for manta ray spotting. So you can do volunteering, you can hike, you know, taking a boat out for the day. We also have floating platforms in the sea where you can have pizzas and different drinks. And then we've got a real array of different resorts. So within the Mamanuca Islands in particular, we've got some iconic boutique resorts. This one here is Liku Liku, which is the only overwater bungalow resort, island bungalow resort in Fiji. We have 2 cruise vessels at the moment, Captain Cook and Blue Lagoon. Both offer really good itineraries around the Mamanucas and Yasawa Islands. And Captain Cook also runs cruises, cultural cruises, the Northern Cruise, and goes out to the Lao group, which is far east on the border of Fiji, between Fiji and Tonga. And it's really pristine. This is the only way you can really get to those islands. Up in the Yasawas, you're located near the Blue Lagoon Caves. It is really powder white sand up there, and just idyllic. By the way, the mantas was something I did when I last went to Fiji. It was a really incredible experience. And then for those really deluxe clients, Como Lathala is one of the most prestigious resorts in the world. You have Kokomo Island, Royal Davui, Vatu Vara, where Harry and Meghan actually stayed on their honeymoon, and Wakaya Island. And these are the kind of places where a lot of celebrities have frequented, and mostly you do need to fly there on a seaplane or a helicopter. Now, if you're traveling on a seaplane or helicopter, you can hire that just for a romantic picnic for the day, or alternatively, you can actually just go from A to B, but enjoy a really scenic flight. So just to wrap up, I'm going to leave you with a little video that we created in partnership with Rebel Wilson. And she's just going to talk a bit about the happiness in Fiji. Enjoy, and thank you very much. Vinaka.
Jane, I don't think the sound is coming through on your one. So, but if you want, I can reshare from my presentation, because the sound should play okay on that one. Do you want to
Sorry,
stop?
Matt. Yeah, sure. I didn't realize the sound wasn't coming
Don't worry.
through.
Do you want to stop sharing
do you
your
want
screen?
to, if I unshare, then do you want to take over?
And then I'll share mine, and then hopefully everyone will be able to hear it then. So let me just share mine, and bear with us one sec, guys, and we will get to where we need to be. Hang on a sec.
Hi, Matt.
Yeah. Let me just try and get down to Rebel Wilson. Okay, hopefully everyone, if I now play this, hopefully everyone can hear. Let me just, sorry, guys. For some reason, it didn't pick it up then. Right, let's try again now.
The pursuit of happiness. Is it a worthwhile ambition? Yeah. Searching for something or someone that will make you happy? Ula. The question is happiness something you can actually find? And how do you know if you found it? Ula. Instead of searching for happiness, is it better to simply open ourselves up? Are we better to put ourselves in a place where happiness finds you? Wait, Steve? This is so random. Fiji. How long did it take you to get here?
Thank you, Matt. Sorry, everyone.
Thanks, Jane. And I'm glad we quickly managed to figure out that there was no sound, and hopefully everyone could hear that okay. So we are